Well, today has been really fun. I got the family traversal plugged in with nPipes, and it's doing cross-repository traversals. Ooh. So I'll just show you a little bit of code first. We have family ID, and then so this is mounted at slash traversal slash family slash ID. And then what we do is we create a set of traversals that are all executed, brought back, collected back, and then transformed into the particular format we want and we care about. So what we do is we say, okay, here's the name traversal. We start at the ID. We say this traversal is name. This is so that when we collect all the traversals back, we know which one's which, because we're actually going to send out a whole bunch of different ones. So we follow this out edge with the person ref. We store the name as name, and that's it for the traversal. For birth, we say, okay, where you're a child, go to the birth event. We mark it, and then we go out to the date, grab the original and formal date, and we backtrack to the birth, sort of this node right here, and then we go to the place. Same thing with death, mother, same thing. We just go to the birth, to the mother, we get the ID and repository of the mother, and then we go grab the name of the mother, wherever that happens to be. Same thing for the father and spouse and child. So what we do is we collect up those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We collect up those 7 queries, and then we execute them locally. And then this is a little hack that I put in. This will be, I got to make an nPipes client that will do all of this work. Do it in parallel and have lots of fun that way. But for now, I just kind of hacked it in. This is a one hop just to make sure everything works correctly. So what it does is it looks for any outstanding queries, collects them up, groups them by repository, and then for each repository, it goes and executes that those queries remotely, and then when they come back, we get them back, and then for each traversal, we just add them in and stamp them over the top. Really, really, really simple in terms of logic. And then what we do is we collate the results. So we have our family object that we're doing. We have parents, spouse, and children, ID, repository, and then we initialize some things just so that the keys are there, essentially. Okay, so then we get all the traversals, and then we skip the ones that are not complete if we have any of those for some reason, or if we have ones that are not finished, like they didn't complete all the way. So I have some more work that I need to do to make this, like if not done and not complete or something like that. But then what we do is we get the payload and we get the particular traversal that we're looking at, and then we switch on that. So up here we had like traversal spouse or traversal father, things like that. And then what we do is we just say, okay, if we have a name, then we're going to go ahead and put the name to whatever name is. If we have a birth, we're going to create this little birth object, formal, original, place, and birth. Death, same thing. Mother, same thing, going down. All of this will eventually be stuck out in its own objects and plugged into nPipes, and there'll be a framework that's like P-tree and nPipes or meet and that type of thing. But for now, we're verifying that it works. We're getting it to work, shaking out some of the bugs. So then when we're done, we have an array of children and we put those children there, spouse as a query. We stick the query on just for kicks and giggles right now. And then we return it. So that replaces all of this code that used to be there. So it's pretty straightforward code. You set up a whole bunch of traversals. This will eventually be one line like execute all or just execute or something like that. And then we come back and we collate everything up. So really, really, really simple and straightforward. Let's see. So let's go ahead and execute this real quick. So we did this for person A. So we have a name, we have a birth, we have a death, we have parents, and you'll notice something cool. This is in another repository. This name was taken out of 8082, not 8081. It's just so awesome that that's there. And then we have spouses and children, and here's our traversal. So there's our little 7 guys. So this one was the father. So here we notice that, let's see, where's the path? So here, let's see, here you can see, there's where, so the person, and we went to the birth, and then we went to the father, which was a boundary, and then you'll notice we jumped from repository 8081 to 8082, and then we finished it out. And this right here was the name. So we are jumping across repositories and back and forth and back and forth. So we can do whatever we want now. Oh, it's so tasty. So I've updated our demo. So that'll work now. So if we connect to 8081, you'll notice we have names. Ooh. And when we click on them, watch up here. My public repository. We just bounced seamlessly between a private repository and a public repository. And we're in private. And we're in the public repository. And we're in the private repository. And we're in the public repository. And we can do, this won't work because it'll blow up, because that bounces to yet another repository that I don't have running. So I'll leave that there. So we come back and forth, you know, person A, spouse, mother. It works. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so, it's so nice. So what I have running is essentially just one running on 8081, one running on 8082, and who cares about log4j? I'll fix that later. And then I have this localhost running. So it's there, it works. There's the events are kind of funky. Oh, that's had a child. There's person A. There's all of those events we know and love. So we're well on our way to getting the private and public repository stuff completely up and operational, having some fun. And I think I'm going to stop here today on a high note and just enjoy the success. And then I have a whole bunch more grunt work. I got to invent and write a nPipes client that does infinite looping and stops appropriately, and then queries and it executes, and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just kind of clean up and wrap up plus documentation. So I need to do that before I jump back in here, or I'm not going to do it. I need to do it while it's all in my head. So, but take care, have a great day and a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.